Okay, so now I'm going to, so this is the third video in setting up Fiddler on the roof, and we're going to go now to transferring basically our mic layout that we've worked out in the Excel spreadsheet here in the background, and we're going to transfer the character names to the microphone channels in the software that is the remote control software for the X32 console. We're going to use the software just because it's far easier here and faster to type names and set characters, because that's all very complicated and cumbersome if you do that actually on the console itself, because you have to dial in every single letter with multiple steps and navigate to the specific letter. So it's really cumbersome. It's really much easier to do this here. So I'm going to basically go through here and look at the characters up here in the background and just simply type them in here. I'm using a Windows version. So at the studio, or yeah, at this on the stages, we have Apple computers, but they have the same software installed. So you can use that there and set it up when you have to do it yourself. So I'm just going to go through this whole thing, Golde, and as I go, I'm going to make sure that my color coding, blue for guys and pink for girls is active. And then I'm also going to do one more thing that I'm going to show you right now. And that is, you see here in the config section where, so the mixer section here, you can see actually all kinds of other settings for each channel. That's not that important when you're doing the configuration. You can just switch over to that. And you can see there is an icon that you can select for each channel. And I actually set that to the male or female icon as I go, okay? So HODL is the next one. You basically in this Windows version, you right click on the name of the track and then you can just type away, and the character here, or that little image, you can open that up in the config area of the channel when you have it open like this. Okay, so I'm going to pause the video and name them all real quick, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so you can see I'm named the 16 channels here with the character names. All right, that's one thing. And now over here, I have my 8 DCA groups, and I'm going to go ahead and name them as well now. Let's see if I can scroll this pretty good here. Yeah, okay, good. So this first one here is QLab Music. That's already good. Tevye, that's going to be blue. Now this one we have to, so usually what I do is Goldie Chava. If I have multiple combined, then I'm just going to put both names in there. There is a character limitation here on this. And on this one, because it's mixed, I'm just going to not use my normal color coding for this. I'm just going to go ahead and just kind of use this light blue just to indicate that this is not always a girl or a guy. So it just helps me a little bit to identify and know where I am if I just look at these settings here. For this particular show, we're going to make it so that the DCA groups always stay the same. That isn't necessarily the case. So when you have a more complex show where you might want to have access to different groups of people or microphones with the DCA groups, it is possible, and I use that frequently to reconfigure the DCA group layout between different scenes and save that with the settings that we're going to automate. So, but for this show, we're going to just keep it simple. Okay, next one is Perchik, and I think we may have to abbreviate them a little bit like this. Saddle, all right, like that, and also here is going to be this blue one. Now here, this is going to be ensemble, female. And we're going to make them purple. And then here's going to be ensemble male. If I could type, we're going to make them blue. And this is going to be vocal reverb is fine. So this is set to vocal reverb. That's fine. That's a good good name for it. All right, now that's it. That's all it for the naming scheme. Now, one thing I wanted to mention here, I don't know if you've seen that when I first opened the session up, it had the characters here from the previous show. This is always something that I like to do to make sure, and I would suggest that you do that as well, to make sure that you start out with the last show or just your template. If once you get to a place where you know that your template is going to be the way you like it, like even between the different stages that we have at Artisan, it's not easy, not a simple thing to move a scene or a setting, a board setting from one stage to the other stage. And the reason for that is the configuration of, for example, the aux channels. That's what you see right here. And so all kinds of different, all kinds of channel configurations are different. That's just because the stages aren't exactly the same, even though they are pretty much the same on the input criteria for the 16 mic channels. But on all the outputs and the auxes and the groups and all kinds of busing, where the different sounds can be played to in the different locations on the main stage is different from the second stage. And therefore, it's not a good idea to just, think, oh, a show is over here, I can just move it over here. And you're going to get in trouble if you do that. So therefore, just use the existing show as a template and make the changes and then save it as what you wanted to save as. So in this case, okay, so let's go back to, that was just that. Let's go back and do one more thing here, and that's really a nice thing to do too, and that is we're going to actually want to configure these DCA groups so that the right microphone channels, the correct right microphone channels, are actually assigned to them. Okay, so the way this works here in the software is really nice. In this view, you can see this strip here, this section right here. It has these 8 little, looks like a little Lego brick top, and they are actually showing you the assignment for each channel to the DCA groups. Okay, so in this case, and the DCA groups are labeled down here, DCA 1, 2, 3 through 8. And so here you can see Tevye is in group 2, and that's where he should be. Goldie is in group 3, that's also correct. And Shava should be with Goldie, so Shava is not in 4, but in 3. Now, Hodel should be in 4, and she is in 4. Lazar should also be in 4. So let's get him out of 6 and put him in 4. And now Perchik is supposed to be in 5, and he is in 5. And Seidel is supposed to be in 5, and she's also in 5. So they're already good. Okay. All right, got that. Now we need to refer to our assignment over here to get the other ones right. So in group 6, we're going to have Yenti. Yenti is in 6. Lazar is already good. Motel is not in 4. So let's make sure that we don't overlook anything here. So we already have Tevye, Golda, Hodel, Shava, Seidel, and Perchik in the correct groups, and Lazar as well. And the other ones here are not in the correct groups yet. So let me just unselect them so I don't get confused moving forward. All right, now, Yenti, Morcha, we're configuring group 6 right now. Morcha, oh, and you can see here, Morcha is actually in the wrong group. Okay, Morcha needs to be moved over here. Why? That's because Morcha is actually a guy. So you have a little imbalance here. This is kind of unusual because usually so we'll double check. That's why, this is a good thing to do this carefully here. So Okay, so Morcha is not in 6, but in 7 in the male ensemble group. All right, then Mendel and Sprinze, that's this shared channel here. This should be in 6. That's 6. There's 6. All right. And number 16, that's the ensemble female channel that also has two characters assigned to them. All right, so 6, there you go. Now, Moto should be in 7. Morcha, 7. Avram, 7. Constable, 7. Fietka, 7. And number 15. Aha. So this is also messed up. This should actually be 15 because 15 is the female, and 16 is the male. Okay. Just double check that that's right. Yes. See, these are girls and the other ones are boys. All right, good. Cool. So that's it. All right, double check everything. All right, this one should be in 7. Yes. Okay, very good. So that's it. Now, when you're in the studio, when you're on the stage, you're actually going to have this wirelessly connected to the board. And in that case, you will just go ahead and send that to the board after you apply the settings. Right now, when you do this on a separate computer where it's not connected, you would just go ahead and save this and do it that way. So that ends this video. So that is basically the assignment of all this. In the next video, we're going to go over into the cues section, and I'll show you here how to set up the mute automation in for the X32 in the X32 edit software.